Hi, and welcome to Mrs. Pam Reads. Today we are continuing in Zoo by James Patterson and Michael Ledwidge. In our last video, look, we're so close to the end of the book. In our last video, the president came on and announced that they were basically going to be shutting down cell phones, communications, satellites, I think, and they wanted people to stay put in their area because not using petroleum, right? So we're not driving anywhere or any of that. She made that a national announcement and said that it was also happening throughout the world in the major countries where animal aggression was a problem. And it's starting to make a difference with the animals. They're behaving more as they typically would. So let's see if that continues and what happens if they decide to use cell phones and stuff again. We are in book 4, chapter 91. Chloe has been up for 2 hours when the sun rises in New York on the second day of the global power freeze. With the electricity off, she lights a candle and spends the flat, empty stretch of time going through family photographs. She is glad she included them when she packed her bags for the government evacuation headquarters. She smiles to herself as she slowly turns the pages of her photo album. She can't decide which is her favorite, wedding photos or the shot of Oz at the hospital holding Eli for the first time, or the one of 2-year-old Eli chasing a seagull at a picnic on Jones Beach. She settles on the wedding picture of Oz waiting for her at the altar, a neon blue Hawaiian shirt on under his tuxedo jacket. It is the expression on his face, she thinks, his smile, the glimmer in his brown eyes. They are a freeze frame of joy and life. God, she misses him. God, does it hurt to be apart? But she cannot go back to the panic and depression. She has to be hopeful. They will be together soon. She knows because it is working. The plan is working. The night before, she and some of the other scientists had gone onto the roof of the building. She had held Eli's warm, tiny hand in hers, and they looked up at the sky. They could see the stars. To Chloe, the starscape above was like the night sky in her girlhood home on her grandfather's farm in the French countryside. Eli was a city kid. He had never seen so many stars. She pointed out the constellations to him and the planets. Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, those winking faraway giants. The galaxy unfurled in a fluttering ribbon of star smoke. They could see the stars, of course, because every light in the city was off, even the street lights. There was not a drop of electricity running in the city's veins. Chloe had listened for any remnant of the great vibration that had once been New York City. It was gone. There was only darkness and silence. The city was a coral shell of darkness and silence. And holding Eli's hand on the roof, Chloe had felt warm tears sliding out of the corners of her eyes and down her cheeks. Her tears had come partly from sadness and partly from the cold joy of seeing all this terrifying, useless, lonely beauty. Progress is being made, she thinks now, tracing a picture of her husband's face with a finger. She can feel it in her bones. They are going to make it through this. After breakfast, Chloe decides to take Eli onto their terrace for some fresh air. Just entering the room where the animals had almost gotten in makes her palms tingle with sweat. But she wills herself through it. Using a broom, she sweeps away the broken glass from the French doors, and then she opens them, and they are outside. It is a gorgeous September day, clear blue sky, sunny, slightly breezy. Listen, Mommy, Eli says. She listens. The only sound is the swish of the wind pushing the leaves of the swaying Central Park trees. I don't hear anything, Eli. Yeah, he says. Someone turned New York off. Chloe smiles. It's true. The streets are still silent. Down Fifth Avenue, morning light trickles through the side streets to lie warm on the wide avenue in golden strips. There is something sad about it, and yet wonderful. Beyond the trees in the distance, the roof of the Plaza Hotel could almost be a Mayan temple. It is as if they had traveled back in time. Chloe puts her arm around her son, her small, bright, warm son. For a moment, for the first time in a long while, she feels halfway safe, halfway happy. She thinks about Oz again, the feel of his back under her fingers, his goofy American laugh. Remember, Chloe's Australian. He is okay. She will see him again soon. She kisses her son, wiping the trembling jewel of tear from the side of her nose. The world will not end. Chapter 92. Splayed on his back on a rock outcropping overlooking a softball field near the Central Park carousel, Attila watches a high white cloud sail across the ocean of blue sky above him. He makes a soft mewling whimper, an almost sigh. His shoulders droop, his muscles slacken. He is serene now. The massive pack of animals he had led into Central Park several nights before has dwindled considerably. First, the rats left, and then the cats. There are a few dogs left, but even they are starting to circle in ever-widening loops, wandering aimlessly, like electrons on an unstable atom. The scent in the air that so strongly compelled Attila to act is weak now, just a tiny trace of what had been. Racked, spent, limp with physical exhaustion, he dozes on the sunny rock. The aftertaste of blood in his mouth is strong, metallic, slightly nauseating. All he wants to do now is sleep. Sleep, sleep, sleep. He dozes throughout the day, waking occasionally, watching the still silent city, dozing some more. The soft light on the white buildings. His sweet, glassy brown eyes blink languidly. He listens to the quiet, the silence. The silence is beautiful. The cool, clean air. Though he is getting hungry, it is normal hunger. It is not a crazed death hunger. He doesn't want to kill now. The bloodlust has burned away like a fever. He is healing now. Soon he sits up as another chimp clambers up onto the rock and sits down beside him. She is a large female who escaped from the Central Park Zoo. She has something in her hand. It is an orange. It is like a ball of flame in her hand, a sun. She peels it with her long fingers and offers it to Attila. Attila breaks it in half and hands the other half back. Together, they eat the orange. The cool, sweet, sticky juice feels good in his mouth. The female cuddles next to him and begins grooming his fur. Soon they are lying there together on the warm stone, feeling her warmth and the warmth of the earth. Attila is at peace. He closes his eyes and slips back into sleep. Chapter 93. 2 more days of meetings slid by like sludge. It was difficult to see by lantern light and hot indoors, so the meetings were held outside in the rose garden. We sat around the tables on springy metal outdoor furniture, using paperweights to keep things from fluttering across the south lawn on the breeze. On the 3rd day, going stir crazy behind the paper-stacked walls of my dark FEMA trailer and the Army compound itself, I canceled my afternoon meetings. I'd heard that DC had been free of animal hordes for more than 2 days now, and I wanted to see firsthand if it was true. I bumped into Sergeant Alvarez coming out of the compound's mess tent and convinced him to come with me. When I met him by the northwest gate a few minutes later, he was in full Kevlar and holding a smooth, flat black rifle with a cylinder on it. "How's the ankle?" I said. "Getting there. Like my walking stick?" he said, shaking a beast of a weapon. It was an automatic shotgun called an AA-12, he explained, which can fire the 32 rounds of a double-aught buck in its drum in about an eye blink at full auto, which is ludicrously destructive when you think about it, but probably just the thing if we run into another tooth and claw mob, Alvarez concluded. They just handed them out. I named mine Justin. Justin? My man, just in case. Outside the White House gates, I like that. The city appeared peaceful, quiet. The quiet was most amazing of all. You could hear the wind. The downtown area was still cordoned off, but they were beginning to allow some residents in to check on their property. We stopped and talked to several people coming in and out of the townhouses. A couple of student nurses from Georgetown, an FBI agent, a lobbyist, and her son. It was as though DC had become a village for now. I was encouraged that people seemed to be upbeat and cooperative, but I knew that this was only the beginning. This was still the honeymoon. How would people feel after a week of no hot showers or air conditioning? With the country's dependence on trucking for food delivery, how long would it be before people started getting hungry? We were on Constitution Avenue when a dog appeared from around the corner. It was a black lab, and with knee-jerk immediacy, Alvarez hoisted his new toy to his shoulder, ready to blast the dog to kibbles and bits. But the dog didn't even glance at us. It passed by in the street, pausing just long enough to relieve itself on a fire hydrant. Alvarez and I looked at each other. Then we burst out laughing. "Call the Times. I have tomorrow's headline," I said. "Dog pisses on hydrant." Okay. And we're going to stop there. Well, it seems things are getting somewhat back to normal. I do hope that we find out what happens. Like, are they going to continue this forever and ever? And probably that's not feasible. So they're going to have to turn the stuff back on. And how do the animals react, right? I don't know. We've got only a few more chapters left. I hope that they kind of wrap that up like that. I guess I don't know that they will. All right, you guys, I guess you'll just have to come back and see. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.